Yes, the Fearless bracelets. So I'm standing in front of you right now, and my knees are locked, my hands are sweaty, my mouth is dry, my heart is beating really fast, my mind is racing, and I'm actually not standing in front of you right now. In my mind, I'm back in second grade. And it's show and tell, Miami, Florida, Pinewood Acres Elementary School. Mrs. Fox is the teacher. And I brought in this gray stuffed animal seal that my parents had bought me at the San Diego Zoo. And I was really excited to bring him in. And his name was Sammy the Seal, because that's clearly what you would call a pet seal. So the teacher says, "Are you ready, Eddie?" And I grab my stuffed animal and I run up to the front of the class. And I say, "This is my pet seal. My parents bought it for me at the San Diego Zoo. Seals are mammals that live in the water, and they eat fish, and sometimes they're eaten by sharks." And that would have been the end of it. And I took a step, and I thought, wait a second, there's something else that I want to share. So I stepped back, I looked at my classmates, and I said, and I named him after someone in this class. Now, there was no one in my class named Sammy the Seal, okay? So immediately I said that, and everybody's eyes kind of went, what? Like, this is about to get juicy for second grade. And there was this knowing glance around the young guy that was my best friend, Javi Guzman, and I took a moment. I thought, is this going to be a good idea? Is this not going to be a good idea? And then I said, I named him after Brett MacGyver. Now, Brett MacGyver was the blonde, popular boy in the class who I had a crush on. Now, really awkward for 1984, Miami, Florida, second grade. And I said that out loud, and as I said that out loud, like the energy shifted in the room. And the experience for me, as a young boy, a young Cuban boy, having said something that all of a sudden felt dirty or wrong, I literally died in that moment. And I walked back to my seat, and I shut down. And I said, I can't say that in front of people. In front of other people, I cannot speak my truth. I cannot be authentic. I cannot be myself. And so when I stand in front of people to speak, I'm not just standing as myself now, but I'm standing in front of you all the other times in my life where I feel like I've made a fool out of myself. Where someone said, oh, that was dumb. Or I made a mistake, and I literally died. The feeling of it was that I literally died in that moment. Now, none of that is real, right? Because I'm still alive, and I'm standing in front of you right now. But the experience that we have physically, it's almost like dying. So that's why we have that physical reaction. Now, Franklin Delano Roosevelt has that famous quote, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And now we stop there, and he continues. He says, that nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror that paralyzes needed efforts to convert retreat into advance. And the word for me that resonates is the word nameless. Now, there is a moment of panic before we do something that we're not comfortable doing, right? And that feeling tends to occur right here. And I have a sound for it, because it sometimes doesn't have a name. And it's, ah. The ah. I don't want to do that, or I don't want to say that. I don't want to go up and talk to that person. I don't want to stand up in front of a group of people and speak. There's this gnawing feeling. And if you name it, right, then we get to the root of the fear. So that is what we're doing today together, is we're not looking just at the event of fear, but what is behind the fear so that we can hack it. So the name of my business is Fearless Communicators. And the word fearless to me initially occurred to me as meaning without fear. Right? The term in Spanish is sin miedo, 2 words, without fear. But the word in English is not fear gone or fear done or fear without. It's fear less. So it's not going anywhere. Right? It just lessens it. So the power is in standing in the face of what you fear And the more you do that, the more it diminishes. There's a famous statistic that says that 74% of people suffer from speech anxiety. Jerry Seinfeld has a famous quote, which is statistics after statistics prove that people are more terrified of speaking than they are of dying. So if you're looking at that, you're better off in the casket than delivering the eulogy. So what is behind the fear? And what I would offer you, it's that limiting self-belief. And it sounds something like, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not the one. Everyone's better than I am. I'm fat. I'm ugly. I don't deserve. It is this negative tape, and it is stimulated by these moments that we've had in our past. So that every time we stand in the present, we're carrying our history and this negative context, right? So I'm going to give you 3 tools today that I have learned over the course of my life and my career. Like I said, I was an actor for 15 years. So we have a lot of experience standing up in front of people and speaking. So there are 3 tools that will disrupt that fear and give you an opportunity to speak not just from a place of panic, but instead from a place of power. Now, it's awesome that we had Brian's talk where he talked about perfection, because nothing is. So the first thing, the first hack, is absolving yourself of perfection. Now, I come from a long Cuban Catholic tradition, so we like to absolve ourselves in Catholicism, right? So the ritual that I have before I step on stage, I do the sign of the cross 3 times, again, lapse Catholicism, and then I say, thank you. And not only do I say thank you, I then also say, I love you. And that's not just to myself, but it's also to you. It's to the audience. And when I say, I am not perfect. I choose my imperfection because in the imperfection lies my humanity. It's what keeps me unique. It keeps me alive. If I'm focused too much on being perfect, then I'm actually in my head. I'm concentrating. My energy isn't out with you. I'm not being attentive so that anything can happen. So in the speaking, it occurs not here inside of me, but it occurs here with the audience, with all of you. So that's where my energy is directed. So once I'm free from perfection, then I take another step, and it's something that I call the pre-beat. It's the moment before you speak. Now, when you watch some TED Talks, or if you watch people speak, like you may have watched people speak today, or if you track this at work when you watch your fellow colleagues, people are introduced, and the first thing they do is they start speaking right away. Now, very soon we're going to be watching the Olympics, right, with Usain Bolt and Michael Phelps, and they don't stand on the block and just go, right? There's an on your mark, get set, and then go. So there's a moment of pause to ground yourself so that then you're able to launch, but from a place of space. So the pause, the pre-beat, is actually connected to your breath. Now, I ask my clients, what does it mean to inspire? And if I were to ask you, what does it mean to inspire, what would you say? What does it mean to inspire?
To raise hope.
To raise hope. What else?
Okay.
Lift someone up. Anybody else?
Teach.
To teach. It means all of that. And if you look at the words, it also means to breathe in. Just like to expire means to breathe out. So we enter this world with an inspiration. And then we cry, right? And we exit this world with an expiration. So it gives us an opportunity, right, to really connect to our breath in the stillness, right? And you actually just took a really nice deep breath, right? We have a tendency to not just only breathe, but breathe very shallow. So we breathe to our chest, right? When the mind racing, the sweaty palms, all of that is because we hyperventilate ourselves. We breathe shallow. So all of a sudden, we wake up 3 minutes into speaking, and it's like, what was I talking about? Then you land, right? So the pre-beat gives you an opportunity to control, slow everything down, right? So I invite you to breathe deeper, and I'm going to introduce you to a new body part. Now, you're not going to find it in your anatomy and physiology textbook. No doctor knows about it. Okay? And it's right here. It's right below your belly button. And it's called the Zorch. Can you say that with me? The Zorch! Awesome. So the Zorch, it's like when you get socked in the gut. It's like the, like I said, I'm Cuban, so with salsa dancing, it's like the high spot, right? So it gives you, it's a life force. It gives you a deeper space within which to create space and then breath and power. It's also the orange chakra. So if you see these fearless bracelets, right, the color orange, right, it gives you and allows for larger space of voice and space within which to create breath and then movement. So then the last piece is something that I call think, breathe, speak. And think, breathe, speak, yes, it's 3 different words, think, breathe, and then speak, but we unify it into one moment. And it's about connecting that breath to a thought. Right? So in the absence of the thought, what we have is our panic. We have our fear. We have our doubt. But you can choose something else. Now I'm looking at all of you, and I'm imagining the people who are watching from the live feed, and I can choose to put into you my doubt or my fear. You don't think I'm good enough. You don't think I deserve to be here. That guy spoke better than I did. Whatever. Why is he bald? You know, whatever it is, whatever the doubt or the fear is, I can choose to project that onto you. But I can also choose something else. I can also choose, you're on my side. This is valuable. This is meaningful. I'm excited to be here. It could be anything. And I choose to speak instead into generosity and love and compassion, generosity. So that's the opportunity to connect that first breath to that thought, and from there, speak. Because in your speaking, what you are doing is exhaling. So there is your breath yet again. So the next time you stand up in front of a group of people to speak, I invite you to remember these 3 tools. 1, to absolve yourself of perfection in whatever ritual it looks like. Number 2, to give yourself a moment of pause, to ground yourself, to center yourself, and to connect to your breath. And the 3rd is to connect that breath to a powerful positive thought, something that you want to share, something that you're committed to, something that you believe in, something that builds people up as opposed to something that destroys and tears you down. My favorite poet, Walt Whitman, in his poem, O Me, O Life, he says, "The question, O me, so sad recurring, what good amid these, O me, O life?" Answer, that you are here, that life exists and identity, that the powerful play goes on and you may contribute a verse. So I look at each one of you, and I think of all of you that are looking and watching online, in a coffee shop, or in your room, in your living room, on your Apple TV, wherever it may be, and I think about that story that you have to share. What is stopping you from speaking that truth that is authentic to you, that one thing that only you can share and you can say? And what I invite you to do is stand up, get your iPhone or your other device, and share your story. Share it with me, at Fearless Communicators, at Eduardo Placer. Share it with everybody in this community. I, for one, am dying to hear it. Thank you very much.